Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It is very, very warm today. And if you hear a sound like a rocket launching, it's because there are water planes flying water to various fires that are here in our lovely Montana in fire season. And it's an interesting time to think about fire. We have a lot of beautiful fire in the sky right now. We have a lot of Leo. And in the tropical chart, the North Node has just moved into Aries, Mars's sign. And in that tropical chart too, Mars is the only planet that's making an ingress in the month of August. So that makes me think about knives. I was reading Alice Sparkly Cat's essay on Mars in her horoscopes. Highly recommended, great writer. Alice Sparkly Cat is her name. She's Chinese American, I think. And she may not be Chinese American. She may be Chinese and living in America, for all I know. But like I said, she's a brilliant writer in English. And she was talking about the fact that Mars, I thought this was going to work for me. I don't think it is. Knives and fire, right? And we have to think about objects like knives, objects like fire, in the sense that they cut both ways. They can both feed you and wound you. They can both help you and harm you. And so it's one of those times in life where we have to thank and respect our knives. Because there's a sense of, with that North Node moving, and that's only in the tropical chart. The nodes won't move in the sidereal chart until October. But that forward direction, that pull towards the future, the great attractor, moving into Aries, is about a time of, steady self-development, inner independence, personal self-development, what you want to cultivate in yourself. And I was just throwing the I Ching for myself and got fire as part of the reading, Li, the clinging. Without a source of spiritual sustenance, there's no inner light when all the other lights go out, right? The most important thing that you can do is develop your inner light. And you need to be able to discern when someone is negatively drawing from your inner light. And you need to put on your own oxygen mask, as they say every time you get on a plane, right? Not to be prescriptive about this, not to tell you what to do. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. But I do think this is a time where it's important to realize that it's not our duty to condemn or correct other people. Aggression isn't going to work. A lot of the people who are interested in fascism are abused. Their life source has been abused so much that all that they can do is drink from another's cup. What I suggest and the I Ching and a lot of other learned people are suggesting right now is that we develop ourselves as opposed to trying to correct others, because it never works. You only have control over yourself. And it's egoic and harmful in the end to think that you could help others by condemning or correcting them. Okay, little Mars rant over. Use that double-edged sword to find a way to hone your own light. Let others find their own way. And see if for a little while anyway you can free yourself from entanglements. It seems like a good idea for August. Inner independence is just key right now. You know what's true in your world. You know what's beautiful in your world. And you know what's good for you. Follow those things, independent of anything else that's going on around you. And I don't see how you could go wrong. I don't see how you could. All right, now we want a little bit of advice from Spirit. The Moon Lodge spread is what we do at the full moon. Inward tree for centering. This is the one that helps us kind of mirror the unconscious and shows us what's going on inside that we're not able to see on our own, that we need Spirit to define a little bit more for us. The first card in the Moon Lodge spread is the Spiritual Nature card. It is the card that falls in the east, and it describes our hidden talents and abilities, the things that we have that can help us in the coming 15 days. And that's another interesting point about this astrology. It's almost exactly 15 days to the new moon. And then there is another full moon in August as well. A blue moon, right? Okay, so spiritual nature, talents and abilities that we can use during the next 15 days. And that card is Rabbit. Ooh, that's contradictory. That's a little unpredictable. Okay, so Rabbit represents fear, and Rabbit calls in its fear by announcing how afraid it is. There is a positive, ooh, this is good. I like this. Your intuition lets you know when you're in danger, right? Your intuition lets you know that feeling on the back of your neck, the one where your stomach feels like it's kind of crawling. The back of the ears start to burn. The throat feels tight. Those moments when your body is talking to you, because Rabbit is like a live nerve. They react to nearly everything. So how can this be positive? It can be positive in the sense that it's summertime, we have our shoes off, we're grounded, we're connected to the earth. And we can know when something is truly dangerous and when it is just something we don't like. We can know when we're truly ignorant in a situation and we need to get out of there because it is dangerous to us, and when something is going on that we disapprove of. And knowing that difference, it seems, will be a spiritual talent for the next 15 days. You're going to want to know your body's visceral reaction to fear. And whether to gitfo or to slowly make your way out of a situation. The hexagram that I got for myself when I threw the I Ching was treading. And that's, one avoids the bite of the tiger by treading carefully. And it seems like in this case, one avoids danger by knowing the intuition of fear. And knowing when that is something that you listen to. I kind of love this because where I live, there's lots of people who drive around with those big old no fear stickers on their cars. But let me tell you something. Fear is valid and useful. And you need to listen to it every now and again because it will get you out of a scrape, right? Also, 30, the number 3, the Trinity, the Tridevi. It's a gift to know when to be afraid appropriately. So the spiritual power that we have going into this lunar cycle is when to intuit danger and when to know that our fears are unfounded, because sometimes they are, right? Knowing the difference, that's tricky. The second card in the Moon Lodge spread is the new growth. This is the seed card. It's your true feelings about the situation. Maybe you don't want to talk to yourself about it. Maybe you don't really want to be in conversation with how you really feel. Maybe you're just plain unconscious of it. And that's what this card describes, how you really feel. And this card is, perfect. The first card, Spirit card, the do not build your nest in a swamp card, the rise above it card. This is my favorite card, obviously, golden eagles being one of my favorite animals. They're massive, by the way, 8-foot wingspan. You see one of those up in the air and it's a majestic sight. Spirit is our true nature. Right? Before the conditioning, before the abuse, before the traumas, and before all the good things, before the enticement of money, before the getting overly involved with food, sex, any of the vices that we may have as well. This is the raw nature, love itself. And the way it's signified in this deck as a raptor, a hunting, a predatory bird, denotes a very focused, homeopathic laser type of love, right? It's not always on your side, it doesn't seem, spirit, because it's showing you things. And sometimes there are things that you don't really want to see. The fact that we're unconscious of the unseen, right? I mean, you kind of have to be. Spirit is the unseen vehicle, the prana, the chi, the ki, the life force that moves the world. And it's showing itself to us, through us. And this is not only the seed of this next 15 days, this is the seed of everything that is. This is the seed card because this is the beginning. It is number 1. It is the I in I am. The I impulse. The knower. So this is the seed card. This is what is trying to bring itself to light in front of us. And it goes to all kinds of extraordinary measures for us to be able to learn how to see. Seeing spirit, the seed, the new growth that will come through the steady self-development of your intuition. Focus on the belly, yo. Beautiful cards. The third card of this particular, we're getting all the raptors, I love it, of this particular Moon Lodge spread shows the real purpose. This is the dream within. And Hawk is the messenger card. It's also a very important card to me personally. These raptors mean a lot to me. And this one's number 2, right? Yeah, it is. It's number 2. It's the real purpose. The dream within is the message. the sign, the symbol, the one that you know intuitively, the one that your spiritual sustenance, your inner light leads you to know. When you see that sign, you see that symbol, you see that message, you know your purpose. And I think that this is the real purpose card, the Dream Within card for everybody, and it applies to the message because there's so many different messages out there, right? Allah loves wondrous variety. All kinds of messages are coming to all kinds of people at all times. You know what yours is. If you know your intuition, if you know how to tell the difference between what you fear and what you foster, then you know your message. And the message that will come to you is your real purpose, right? You have a myth about this place, about your life, about what's happening. And this is the symbol of that. The one that carries that message to you, whatever that message is and however it comes, whatever the messenger and the message are. It means something to each one of you that's very, very different and beautiful and unique. Aquarius, uniqueness, ascending, Capricorn, right? So in the tropical chart, this full moon is in Aquarius. And in the Vedic chart, the sidereal chart, it's in Capricorn. And these are both Saturn's signs. And when we don't listen to Saturn, there are consequences. He's the Lord of Karma, right? Your message is calling right now. Whatever your inner development needs to be, whatever your steady self-development and focus needs to be on, to the point where you can find acceptance and contentment, even as the world's on fire. That's your thing. Whatever your thing is, your thing. Do your thing, right? That's the real purpose here. It's a spiritual purpose. It's a purpose around discernment, about understanding what's right and wrong for you in the context of your message. That's the real purpose, the dream within. And whatever that means for you, the messenger is just the one who tells you about it, just the one that brings it to your attention. So I'm trying to point to whatever that is for anybody who's listening to this right now. You know what your myth is. You know what your message is. You know how you want your story to play out and what you need to do spiritually to stay out of the fear of the fire of the present moment. Give fuel to that. Find a way to put your attention on that so fully that whatever's happening around you isn't going to matter as much, whatever your creative fire is. Oh, my favorite. It's like a reading for my heart, right? The inner wisdom, the wisdom within. Loyalty. Whatever your message is, you have to find a way to be loyal to it, or you're going to live in fear. You're going to live without spirit unless you're loyal to your inner drive, your inner light, your inner fire. You know, the wisdom within, at the start of everything, you came in with that impulse. You came in with that seed. Be loyal to it. Be true to that seed. Don't betray it, not for anyone or anything in this world, because this world, fearful as it is only a messenger for what you need to be loyal to within. Your spirit is not from here. You come from realms of unimaginable light, beauty, and truth, and you will return there. Be loyal to that. You're a spirit having a material experience. Don't take it personally. Be loyal to yourself. There's the plane. I don't know if you can hear it. It sounds like a rocket to me. And that one is 14. That reduces to 5. A number of transformation. So maybe you haven't been being loyal to it. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Start now. Start today. We're doing all these crazy diets in my yoga classes, and they're hard. They're hard to stick to. You know, we're fruit fasting once a week. And sometimes I do it on the wrong day, and I've got too much going on, and I end up with this god-awful headache and in a terrible mood, and it's like I screwed it up. Start today. Start over, right? Every failure, every time you mess it up, you can return to the original loyalty. No matter what has happened. No matter what has happened, you can always turn to the original loyalty if it's of the spirit and it's the proper message for you. You can't let your fears guide the spirit within you or tell you what the world means. In acceptance and contentment, we find a source of spiritual sustenance. There has to be an inner light when all the other lights go out. You have to be a light for yourself. No one can do that work for you. The central card in the Moon Lodge spread is the personal unconscious card. Now, this is a power shield. It's like the thing that integrates all the other cards. It brings them all together into a symbol that you can use as a talisman to try and remember what got said here if it's meaningful to you. And that card is elk. Ooh, diggity. Stamina. We're doing a little fighting for elk rights and hunting rights here in my home state at this moment. And this creature outlasts its predator in the hunt 99% of the time. They just have these massive chests and the ability to run longer than almost anything out there. And that's a really good test of your spiritual sustenance, right? Does it go the distance for you? As you work on this steady self-development over the next 18 months that north node in Aries, that fire, that drive is going to require, does it help you last through the storms of these difficulties? I mean, you know, Mars, the only planet changing sign in the tropical, with massive heat waves and everything that's going on. I mean, there's a lot that amplifies overheating, getting mouthy and nasty with each other and with people, and trying to like step outside yourself and think that you're going to be able to change somebody on a Twitter rant or on, you know, social media. That's there for a purpose, right? It's playing on the old fears of being exiled from the clan or the group, and they're making money off of you believing that you could change somebody else. If that's true, why are we still dealing with Nazis? Right? I mean, if you can liberate and change people, why do we still have people in the world that think other human beings don't have a right to live? I mean, maybe there is a way to rehab them, but we haven't found it yet. And certainly, the way people gear their social media toward trying to influence the hearts and minds of others. I mean, even our military tries to do that. The police. Okay, so we have quite a few threes here. And that brings us to another trinity and to Pluto, which squares the nodes. And that meaning birth, death, rebirth. The three constants in life. All of those being equal parts of endurance, right? As you're breathing, cells are being born, they're dying, they're being born, they're dying. It's happening over and over. Anaerobic and aerobic activity is fanning that prana, that fuel, that fire inside of you. And somehow I'm really getting the message at this full moon that we have to accept and somehow be content with everything that's rising and falling around us while we sit, with that candle of the inner light and protect it from the wind and keep it growing by feeding it and making sure that it endures. So I really feel like in fear, find your spiritual sustenance. Be loyal to that message of spiritual sustenance. Make sure that you endure. Put your oxygen mask on first. Evaluate all your other entanglements and involvements on that measure. Is it going to help you and your spiritual message endure loyally? Or is it detracting from that? And do you know how to tell the difference? What's a real fear? And what's something that you just dislike? Don't let it egg you into trying to change others outside of you. If you have that fear that makes you want to go out there and be aggressively condemning or correcting others, that's a moment. That's a moment to take a look at that. The card at the bottom of the deck, I think this was the same at the new moon. The spiral. The spiral, where we started, right? And it's also this symbol, the flower of life, right? A spiral looks like it has a beginning and an end, life, death, rebirth, but it's really all interconnected. There's no beginning and no end to where the flower starts and where it terminates. It goes through cycles like the moon. If this one's coming from my Vedic astrologer, Vic, Spiritual GPS. He's the greatest. I love this guy. I've been thinking about him all day today. If you are so moved tonight, spend time under the full moon. If you are so moved, journal while you sit under the full moon. If you are so moved, take your talismans, take your spiritual trinkets, and let them be in the light of the moon tonight. Mark this as a turning point where you stop wasting energy on things and people outside of you that you fear need to change in order to remain in your life. You are not loyal to the purpose of propping up dying structures or holding toxicity in your spiral of life. You get to choose what you come back to time and time again. And remember, any spiral that you get into, it works equally well in the opposite direction. And you can extricate yourself so that you endure. You can dance your way in and you can dance your way out. If you are so moved, do your practice, your yoga practice, your meditation practice under the light of the moon tonight. If you dance like this creature dances. And you know, the grouse and the quail, they have faced very fearful problems. The native grasses of our North America replaced by the fescue, they had no place to hide, right? They had to find ways to be loyal to the inner light so that they could endure. They had to find ways to be their pattern of biology so that they could live. There's a lesson in that for all of us. I'm hoping I wasn't too prescriptive, really talking to myself with this one. Really telling myself, it's inside, look inside, be with what you know nourishes you. Consistent sources of hope. The raptors, the eagles, the four-leggeds. Okay, I hope this was in some way helpful to you, and I'm always so grateful for your attention and your kind time. Thank you very much. Enjoy this full moon. Let's see if I can find the thing.